My name's Megan. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm a carrier of adrenoleukodystrophy. So I first learned that I had I was a carrier when I was probably about 12. My brother, who at the time was 9, was diagnosed with ALD, and naturally, our whole family was being tested at the time, and that's when I discovered that I was a carrier. So the males are obviously predominantly affected by ALD. There's adult versions and children's versions. Obviously, I know the most about the children's version because I experienced it with my brother. Essentially, it's a terminal illness that shuts down, every part of their body, and they do die from it, usually a couple of years after diagnosis. Um, for females carriers, I think I haven't done a lot of research. Maybe I don't really want to know. I think it can vary. I know that female carriers, as they get older, can have mobility issues, but I think it varies. And like I say, I haven't really looked into it. I guess I'll face that if and when it happens. So I probably all along, vaguely in the back of my mind, knew that IVF could be an option, but really I didn't look into it until I was ready to start having children, which was probably when I got married about 7 years ago. Did I choose? I've done both options. I've gotten pregnant naturally, and I've also done IVF. I've gotten pregnant naturally twice, one with a good outcome, an unaffected boy, the other with a negative outcome, an affected boy, which I did terminate. And obviously, after experiencing that, I went on to IVF, which is difficult in itself. But then I was lucky enough to get an unaffected boy naturally because they only put in a healthy embryo. Because it was too traumatic going through the termination. And just the waiting to do the CVS, the waiting for the results, the not knowing how it was going to turn out, not you don't want everyone around you knowing that you're pregnant. You're trying to hide it. You're probably looking a bit pregnant, because you don't want everyone to know if you terminate a baby. I guess a bit of stigma. So once we'd gone through that, my husband and I both vowed that the only way we'd have another child is through IVF, and so that's what we pursued. The IVF is challenging because I'm not sure what it's like in America, but in Australia, it's very expensive. It feels, you feel like a number. You feel like they're just making money out of you. I didn't feel like there was a lot of care and compassion through the IVF system. I did one round and I got some embryos that went to testing, and none of them could be used because they were all affected. And you just then are now facing, again, yet another round and not knowing how that's going to turn out. And it's almost like a full-time job. IVF baby predominantly is for infertile people. So it's a sort of unique experience to be doing IVF when I had no problems getting pregnant naturally. So to have problems getting pregnant through IVF, it just doesn't seem right. But yeah. Now that I've got my two healthy boys, I wouldn't change anything, because whatever I went through, I got them. So it's all worth it, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Be a bit more realistic on how difficult it was going to be. I guess I was naive, and didn't realize how much of a journey it would be. So yeah, probably be a bit more realistic about the difficulties that we were going to face.